Hi again. We are wrapping up with the last but not least panel of the day. And what an excellent title to wrap the day. Back to the future. What does the future of AI and entertainment hold for, not for you, for society? So, of course, we see this is a bigger conversation and a conversation that will be moderated by a professional journalist that's been awarded, celebrated, Catherine Mathys. Thank you so much for joining this afternoon.
Thank you.
Catherine, you are with the Canadian Media Fund, who fosters, develops, finances, and promotes the production of Canadian content. Hashtag Speak Courage. Thank you. Thank you for being there. And in your experience in the AV and media industry, you've been a journalist, a cultural animator, you hold a bachelor's degrees in sociology, and you've also been awarded the Grand Prize of Journalism, in independent journalism, which is important to specify, by the Quebec and Canadian Online Publishing Awards, COPA. And very interesting fact, which I will wrap your introduction on, you're also a member of the Association of Professional Futurists. Okay, so hopefully you can tell us.
There is such a thing.
So thank you, welcome,
you.
and I will let you introduce your wonderful co-panelists.
Absolutely. Thank you
Merci
so
beaucoup.
much. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Has it been a good day? I hope you had, a lot of great insights, a lot of great content that you had the fortune to see and hear today. So very happy to be with you and these great folks today for this last panel of the day. I will get to introduce them. Don't worry, you'll know exactly who these people are and what kind of conversation we'll be having. But just before we start, we just have a short video to show you. It's called Le Monde de Morgane. And I wanted to show you this because it's part of an immersive track for high school, so for teenagers, to better understand AI. So they put together a little video for us to get a sense of where their thinking is when they think about the future, when they think about AI. This is a production of Technosciences and Créo. So we'll show you this little video, and then we'll come back to it, introduce our panelists, and go on to the future together. So here we go.
Pour comprendre la place de l'intelligence artificielle dans ma vie, puis de la tienne, je te raconte ma journée. Parce que l'IA est partout, même là où tu t'y attends pas. Le matin, mon assistant virtuel me réveille, il allume la radio puis me rappelle mes rendez-vous que je dois faire. Quand je prends mon téléphone, je mets ma face devant, puis la caméra me reconnaît. Ensuite, je demande à mon assistant virtuel d'activer les lampes et le chauffage dans mon studio. Quand je reçois un nouveau contrat, je demande à mon appli de vérifier si tout est OK. Puis elle ajoute ma signature automatiquement, comme si c'était moi. Mais c'est pas moi. À midi, je commande mon lunch sur une app de bouffe. Une IA me propose un menu en fonction de ce que j'aime. Puis avant de partir en ville, je m'arrête au café. Je paye avec mon cell qui calcule le pourboire à ma place. Après, je demande à mon assistant virtuel de me donner le meilleur trajet en fonction du trafic. Puis après, je prends le bus autonome, sans chauffeur. Le soir, l'IA me propose des films à voir selon mes préférences. Puis au moment du dodo, parce qu'il faut bien aller se coucher, mon oreiller intelligent reproduit une respiration calme pour m'aider à m'endormir. La nuit, mes écrans se sont mis automatiquement en mode veille, puis demain, ça recommence.
So that's a day in the life of a teenager. Not sure where we were in the future, like how far ahead in the future there. It doesn't seem too far ahead with some of the technologies that she was talking about. So before we get to that, hi, nice to see you finally in person. We've been talking a lot, but Zoom. So this is a lot better. So nice to meet you. So Jonathan from Prodago and Galit from Future Memory. Just tell us a little bit about yourselves, who you are, what you do, and then we'll jump right in the content.
You look at me, so I start first?
Sure.
So my name is Jonathan Belisle. I work mainly as a concept designer for experience. I mostly use AI as an artistic mean to create voice experience, to create camera vision experience, but mostly poetic experience. And I work in a very serious startup called Prodago, who does AI governance on complex projects to mitigate risk of AI project in society.
Nice pitch. Yeah, you practiced, you can tell. And you?
I did not practice. I live in the moment.
Yeah, go for it.
So my name is Galit Ariel. I currently reside in Toronto. I'm doing my PhD research creation at York University, looking at concepts of identity and embodiment in immersive tech, which is my darling, especially augmented reality. I come from a design and human-computer interaction design and experiential background. So I'm a maker at heart, but a thinker in practice, I guess. Yeah. And I try to combine both. And in Future Memory Inc., we work with policymakers and organizations to do art tech critical and speculative projects in order to poke tech all the way to where I think it could be better.
Nice. So what did you think about that little video? What do you think about what teenagers see for themselves in the future?
I think we ruined it again, haven't we? Because, I mean, first of all, two things about this video. If that person lives in Silicon Valley or certain affluent societies and parts of the world, 90% of what's happening there already exists.
Right.
That's number one. But number two, you know, what I'm noticing is the future is very scripted with the narrative that we have on like AI is going to personalize everything. It's about you. You know, I actually didn't see anyone else there. Mm-hmm. This is something we're experiencing with workshops we're doing with kids even. It's isolated. It's very targeted. It's very comfortable. Everything is polished, but it doesn't feel alive to me, or everyday life that is beautiful and messy and a little bit different than this.
A little bit more chaos than what was portrayed. Jonathan, how do you react to that video? What do you think?
I think this is like Galit said, like actually happening in most part of the world. I think the narrative is way too clean, and we live in a world where we are trying to remove friction and the messiness of humanness, but I think it has to come back to a more chaotic or at least creatively messy reality where AI is used to assist us but not replace every other decision. So I think it was like a portrait of maybe a direction of technology, but not for me a preferable one. Mm-hmm. Most probably predictable and very possible, but not preferable in sense of keeping the humanness and the messiness of our relational capacity at max. You know, I think AI can help us even becoming more messy and creative than safe and controlled by the tech. I think we should have a more binary, not less binary experience with it.
I think we should be proud to be human and biological and messy, and this is an issue I have a little bit with this paradigm of like technology is superior. I heard it today from someone I was just chatting to, like it's superior to us. And I'm like, no. It's not superior. It's very, very different. And its beauty is in how different it is. And it is linear and it is vectorial and we're not. And I think a successful AI human kind of like combination will leverage on both sides and won't try to automate us, you know, the whole productiveness apps like, do more. And because when we just do that, all the promises of more technology will give us more time fall apart because we now have to catch up with things that our bodies can't do.
So we have a little treat for you guys. Let's move away from that very clean version of the future, or the very near future, and let's go into a scenario that we crafted together using these people's great minds of the future and of where we could be heading. So I'm going to be reading a very short scenario, and then we'll be jumping off this. So if you're ready, we're going to 2050. You're leaving 2022, so, you know, send a last text to anyone you need to talk to because we don't know if you're coming back or not. This is the scenario we put together for you. So the year is 2050. It's a very hot June morning with a 40 degrees Celsius forecast. Thanks to the NASA AI climate predictor, we can follow rain clouds and heat waves in real time. Sarah is slowly waking up. As soon as she opens her eyes, her intelligent lenses project on the ceiling her day's activities. She knows several friends and colleagues are waiting for her in the Metaverse to plan their next big project. She has allergic reaction to the word Metaverse, so I'm going to try and say it at the least amount possible.
I was actually contemplating in the background that we'll do tequila shots
She
every
yeah,
time
right. She needs
the
shots.
N-word
But I'll try to
is
keep her
done, just
sober
so
for
I
the
can-
rest of this panel. So Sarah's feeling tired today. She goes into the bathroom to get her personalized biotech supplements. Hopefully, that will get her through the day. Nonetheless, Sarah may send her digital twin to some of the meetings she has today to save her energy for the important ones. There's one particular project that Sarah holds dear. She knows the new gold is bandwidth, and not everybody has the same access. She would like to reverse things just for one day. Indeed, with most shows and plays being transferred into a virtual setting, the wealthy are able to travel in cyberspace and attend any show they wish. Those with the proper devices or enough bandwidth credits, this is something new, are unable to attend the same shows. She wants to create a new sharing structure where everyone puts in the internet access credits they own to share with the crowd. For just one day, access would be unlimited for all, and each could finally get to their personalized version of the show. Sarah knows not everybody has had an immersive experience catered to their needs. Most attend general presentations for everyone. Just like in 2022, people gather to watch the same show and tailored aspects in their reaction. In 2050, it's the other way around. Detailed data maps provide customized cultural products for most, but not all. Some problems, as you can see, evolve differently than expected, but they don't go away. So that's the little scenario we will bounce off of, and I can sense that you need to say something. So what?
I'll let Jonathan.
We're in the
speak.
future, so we're in that future. And my first question to both of you would be, what helped us get there? How did we get there? So tell the people from 2022 how you got to that 2050 space.
Can I use a metaphor first?
Go ahead.
Look, I think I'm more like a poet today. Like, the idea is not to use just the words we are being used to describe what we are living, like metaverse or AR, VR. These are terms to try to name a narrative and to tell a story. But technically, we're there since the 70s in the computing world and the ideas. And I think when electricity arrived in our society 100 years ago, just 100 years ago, we had to put the wires on the wall because they were cutting fire. And it took like 20 years before we mastered electricity and hid that in the wall. Same thing for plumbing. We kept it 40 years visible. Then we mastered it, hide it. Same thing for cars and stuff. So right now we are hiding a lot of stuff from our eyes. And it's coming us, we become the camera. And the industrial world really want us to become cameras. So I think what really brings us to the lens of Apple, I think I saw Bertrand Neveu, who sold this technology for pass-through to see the world and the VIX reality. This will bring amazing realities to our brain, but also vice, and also probably psychedelics and some revolution, and people will stop doing drugs, but they will put an helmet, you know? So I think a lot of experimental people will discover probably not a business model, but a lot of, let's say, trippy people. Like I think there will be a psychedelic revolution with this thing. And so it's not acid anymore, but it will be called the helmet or something.
Nice.
I think
Galit.
I think we are in the psychedelic revolution already. I mean, I don't know if you heard, but there was a shaman, a psychedelic microdosing shaman at Davos this year. So I think we're there. I hope we won't stop doing drugs. I actually hope, I'm sorry, I hope we'll do drugs not to become more effective, because I think it misses the point, personally. Where like, even weed is like, oh, this is the weed that doesn't affect you. I'm like, what's microdosing? It doesn't do anything. I'm like, so I actually, I agree. I think there will be a split, and we saw in this scenario the split of the tech haves and the tech have-nots. This is something that isn't being solved yet, and we can talk about decentralization all we want, but the people in this room and the people making tech and the people that tech is made for are, up there still. And it's not, in my mind, teaching more people to code or kind of like doing more high-level tech, but it is about maybe not halting, because it sounds like a hater thing, but move slower and fix things before we rush forward again. Because honestly, the reason this scenario is very plausible, and also we talked 2050, the more I think about it, it's becoming closer and closer. The darkness of Moore's law, is the acceleration is just everything together all at once. But the heat waves are still there.
Yeah.
Like the fundamental thing, the social gaps are still there. So no offense to anyone, what the hell we're doing with tech if we're not solving that? And question two, how the hell will we get to a world where the M word exists if we have a silica crisis and an energy crisis that is not being addressed? So for the technology's sake, we have to kind of like pull up our sleeves and do the boring stuff we don't wanna.
There was a guy who wrote Dark Ecology. Anybody know? Timothy Martin. He works with Bjork on the future of ecological consciousness, and he says, if we all giving our attention to our device, we're not passing it on solving problems that are demanding more attention. And so, hopefully, AI scientists, designers, game programmers, or producers start, some of them already are probably in this crowd listening, yeah, this is the direction. There's no market fit for that. There's only problem fit. We're going to need to find partners, probably people who want to give money for those causes, and we call them causes so far. So it's not a business model. It's like the ecology or the understanding of how the universe works. So my daughter, recently, I put an helmet on her head for 1 minute. I was afraid she liked it. And oh yeah, she was like, oh my God. It was like that moment where I knew the screen would not be enough after. PS4 is not enough, an helmet is not enough, never enough. So addiction is real. I lived it with my daughters, I fought it, I created even projects to calm them down. It didn't work. They still ask me for this new Minecraft, they still ask me for more time for screen. So I didn't even solve the screen problem, and now their helmet is coming. At some point, we will forget that we have a helmet on. So the scenario brought me to, not to tears, but to realize, what do I need to calm in myself so I don't need to just get away? When you go to yoga and you calm your breath, an helmet could probably do that too, to teach you to calm yourself. And then at some point, you won't need the helmet. The helmet is inducing some change in you. At some point, the change becomes natural, and then your body doesn't need the helmet anymore. But what if some people want you to be addicted to the helmet or to your screen, if we're not already all addicted to our screen? Or, they call something tethering, when you tether something with your Bluetooth. Tether means leash. So we're kind of all leashed somehow yet to our screen. Will we be leashed to helmet or to any other industrial revolution, or will we actually become emancipated by it? That's my kind of...
I kind of feel you're leading us towards one side of
that's true.
the answer rather than the other.
But I have to say...
That's true.
I'm optimistic in the sense, I like to have critical optimism, and I see these dark things happening right now because that's how we build it. That's how we're building technology, and with very dark intentions. But I believe the children are the future too, and I am seeing kind of like a counter movement, and talking to kids and younger adults, that they are not as bedazzled by technology as we are. you know, and I think a lot of like, teach your kids to code from the age of 2, because how will they make it in kindergarten? I think they're much more phased. You know, I found out from the kids of my friends, they're hiding in real life. They're just switching all their devices. That's the best place for them to hide. They just switch off, and their parents can't find them. This is where they're free. So all the things we're telling them, like, oh, freedom, future, they figured out that it's not that. They know better than us how to manipulate these and hack these processes, and they're doing their own thing there, which is wonderful. And
That's true. Like, I don't want to be a party pooper. I really like,
no.
I like AR and VR.
what kind of a party without pooping? You know, that's not a party. Tequila shot and pooping. If there's no pooping tequila story, it's not a party. It's just a gathering. Like, we're here, you know.
But like, we live in a world where I see some business models like, we remove friction, no more waiting line, no more, you know, you don't have to talk to your neighbor and stuff. So we remove a social element by removing all friction. Maybe the messiness part that we talk is interesting. We're going to discover, like Alexandre Theodoroscu from Les Doigts said, we are studying presence. I mean, most of people in that field study presence. Like, what is presence? How do you feel present and here, immersed? Am I here? Wait, I have special glasses when I see something above your head. And some people do see that, right? So some people would live in 2 realities at the same time, 3 realities at the same time, 4, 5, like a super psychedelic, impossible trip that people will live in like 10 years. Like when Apple released their glasses, and what I saw from Bertrand 5 years ago is now going to be in a headset, people will either freak out, but also discover what makes them connect in the real world.
Human,
Human world. So I think there will be a hybrid learning of like, oh my God, I need to take off. Oh my God, like the helmet will be able to detect burnout. People will get to like, man, you need to chill out, your heartbeat and your
I need that helmet.
But I think right now there's so much anxiety in schools. I think helmet could be used sometime for therapy. Maybe it's already used strongly. I'm not sure if it's used in therapy, but
I don't want kids to do that.
I know. But I think we're going to learn stuff about our brain. We're going to learn stuff about our attention. Probably we could calm down with it also. Like, I'm not against using it for chilling out.
So in that scenario, and you called it, you know, very early in this conversation, there are inequalities that or you know, different
Excess.
right that we have today that are still in that scenario down the line. What needs to happen? How can that be reversed? If, like, let's just imagine for a little while here. Let's just create what needs to be created to reverse some of these inequalities, to reverse the axis. Go. Oh, you have answers. Oh, yeah.
I have answers.
All right.
So it's Tuesday today, right?
I don't know. I'm
It
in the
is.
future.
Well, in the future tomorrow, the U.S. is about to announce, as far as I could understand, another raise in the interest. I think we are, you know, you want to talk about party poopers? We are in a recession. We are in a problematic economic time. We are in this turbulent time. As much as we like to ignore and deny it, you know, COVID was over, but we are in very unstable times. And I think that it's going to call on a lot of us, and we are in turbulent time also. Again, like, I cannot not talk about climate crisis, because we're like, it's happening.
Of course.
Melting iceberg, and we're like doing crypto. We're like, let's melt it quicker, and the whales can float on all the water. But it is happening. We are.
But you're
at a
an
crisis.
optimist.
I am an optimist. An optimist knows it could always be worse,
Nice.
but it believes that we can still fix it. So I don't agree with when people say like, oh, it's going to be wonderful. This toxic optimism is actually pessimism, because it says like there is only one future, one possibility, and it's a vectorial technological one. I'm like, for you, not for everyone, and also explain to me how, show me the energy. Where will you get the energy? So I think we are about to hit a wall if we haven't. I think we haven't, and we just don't want to see it. And I think we will be forced to change the way and the reason why we make technology. I think we're seeing it, like people are dropping off social media. People are tired. People, I'm sorry, but, during COVID, I was in a lot of panels and people are like, yeah, digital transformation happened. I'm like, and nobody wants to be here. And everybody are baking sourdough bread because this, that was the killer app of 2020. Let's admit it, And people now, and I'm seeing it coming out of COVID, they're like so happy to see each other. And they don't want to go back to the office just to be back to the office. People, and somebody mentioned it, they are looking for meaning because, you know what? We have, everything together all at once. We have it all. There is no, I'm a Trekkie. There's only 2 technologies from Star Trek that are not real today, which are also not
The
interesting.
food replicator. I'm still waiting for it.
No, you have 3D food printing, but not replicating.
Oh, listen, that makes me dream.
We're printing 3D beating hearts. Come on, that's pretty. Like we're there. The technology is there.
I want it in my house when my kids want to eat.
The heart, like take my heart. You're killing me. No, but we have honestly, technology-wise, we have everything. Like this is it. I don't understand where we're running. Maybe some tweaking. But we have everything. What are we solving with it? Like, come on, we're all here. What are we solving with it? Today. If we want a future, today we need to solve.
But again, I think the shift from a market fit perspective and investment and to a problem fit, I think astrophysicists lived that 20 years ago, but we're about to live it in entertainment. Entertainment could be about inward journeys instead of validation journey. Like,
knowledge.
Knowledge.
Entertainment can be knowledge and not just...
I think education could, I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to say it. Edutainment, which has been criticized for so long, could evolve. Academics, researcher, there's a lot of plagiat or copy right now in that domain, and they apply it and they create labs and copy everything that was done in a research, like do a lab, but don't retribute a person. This could change, like the knowledge sharing, and I think this is an example of where it could go. Entertain AI is, I saw like startup people, researcher, institution at the same place, simultaneously talking about projects. And we were talking about builders versus like just talking about it. I think more and more we need prototype tools. So I think what will happen is, I'm working on this myself, but many people will release prototype tools just to think. I think right now we need to think with prototypes. Like, let's stop just talking like that and just like, let's go create a prototype together in AR, VR, whatever. My wife at the time didn't believe in AI. She was afraid of it. And then we bought that speaker. And my kids were always listening to the same algorithm from YouTube. So the same songs and same millennial songs. I'm sorry if like...
Don't apologize.
Yeah, don't start that song.
Yeah, I should not say that, but it's the same song, like the song is made by an
We know
algorithm.
the song, okay.
The same person did the same song. It was actually a paper and pitchfork. The 10 songs on the top chart made by one person, so with the same algorithm. So I was like, okay, so I'm tired of that. Let's go back to the 80s. So she used the speaker now, and she talks to this AI, right? Hey, Google, put James Taylor, put Karen Young and stuff. So my kids and her kids are discovering way more music because of AI in a certain sense, because we're not constrained by any screens. We're just going with the feeling. And that brought back the idea of like people will want to live in the feeling, will want to live in the now, will want to live this more. And actually, this is my first event in like 3 years. So I'm kind of like almost socially, socially, like I'm rediscovering what it is to be in a social setting. And
so far, so good. I mean, you're doing well in the
but like,
social setting.
asking myself the question about why tech? Like, and what is tech bringing in my life? Validation? Do I need to put my Instagram? I used to shoot Instagram everywhere, and I really reduced that. So how will I use the AR, VR, instant mapping of my reality over, like, do I need more notification or actually more relevant ones? But not more. So my time on these environments might be very reduced. Maybe it's going to be 30 minutes per day instead of 4 hours. So I hope the companies building them think that people will pass less time on them, but more quality time.
Yeah. And
I'm talking a lot, but
more value.
One of the people were criticizing me having my kids playing PlayStation or using VR stuff, but one of the neuropsychiatry guys said, the most important thing is co-viewing with your children. And instead of just saying, go play your PlayStation or go play YouTube, or you sit with them and you have a social co-viewing experience of what they do, and you have an actual exchange, what are you building? You're building like a fortress in Minecraft. Okay. And what are you, why, what's happening? What's the story? And it's like, instead of having just a separate parenting problem, you actually develop a real relationship with the kids. The narrative is telling himself, how do you think it works? How do you think AI works? And the kids are really wise, and they ask good questions, better questions than adults. So we might have some kids coming up with very novel ways to use AI that adults cannot think at all, because we're already at 8 years old. I think it's over, right?
What's over at 8? Sorry.
The acceleration of the brain starts decelerating. Like,
Oh, really? I'm noticing that.
For boys
my
or
kids'
girls,
age.
because mine...
No, I think kids will ask good questions if we allow them to ask questions about what we give them. So we need to give them tools. And for example, music. I don't know if you're a music lover in the crowd, but AI and music, AI and Photoshop. I give a half picture of a horse riding on a beach, and I don't like the horse. Remove the horse. My daughter is 12 years old. Like, she just circled the horse, and hey, look at this, Papa. And she circled the horse, like disappear, and then I have a scene on a beach with no horse. I'm like she doesn't know how it works, but she's using it every day to do crazy videos. And she does a song, she sings na 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 na, and then she transformed this in a synth, powerful song. And I'm like, okay, so she's learning music, or at least she's learning that she's interested in music with AI. And one day she won't need AI to play music, but...
So all of that is really interesting because I think it's pointing towards that preferable future. So I want to talk a little bit more about that preferable future, because we started with a scenario, and then we talked about, what was still happening that shouldn't be happening so much, and how we got there, and how, things blocked us from getting to certain things, but to certain points. But what is your preferable future? Take us down that dream with you.
I'm on Vulcan, Spock, and no. Well, you asked. I think I love technology. I'm a super nerd. I love technology. I'm just not in love with it. I want technology to be there. I don't think, as humanity, our civilization cannot separate itself ever from technology. This is the birth of our civilization, is technology. We're sitting here wearing dead animals or things we made, or
it's
plants.
Not, but
no. I was like looking at you, and I looking away because I'm like, I know. No, but we everything we do is to compensate. We've been using technology to compensate for this, to be honest, which is fine. We got where we got with it. But I think there is a point where, again, I think we arrived, honestly. Like, I think we have everything we dreamed of and some. And I think we can lean back and just see what we could do better with it. We're synthesizing meat. Great. So we can have beautiful steaks without killing anything. We can have it all. We can, right? So I want us to have it all now. That's what I want, to be content. Can we be content? And again, I don't want to hint at any level that entertainment, there's more important activities and, but, I think culture and entertainment and education and knowledge are the bedrock of everything else we're doing. I just wish, I hope that we will make, the content we deserve, that will teach us, that we'll thrive with, not just something to binge. Because digital junk is junk too, and it takes energy and time. And time.
There's going to be a lot more of it too.
Time is the one thing. We cannot acquire NFT, mine, or extend. Even for those that think that they can live forever, the time that has passed is past. The present is the present, right? It's in the word. The present is a present. And if we're just distracted or trying to be elsewhere all the time, and that's our goal, we are missing kind of the point. We are moving to a future where we never lived, the past or the present, and I think entertainment, and I think that knowledge and media have so much to give us, to open these windows to things that are happening right now, to possible futures. I'm a, Star Trek, I'm like a science fiction. I think there's so many windows inside that we're missing. But I would just love for technology to not be the goal of like, but we can't do it, so we should, but to know why we're doing it, to make it purposeful, to make it sustainable, not just sustainable for the environment, sustainable for us as humans, as society, because we have it all. We're just being very, very lazy in kind of like putting it for good use.
Finding the why. I will go with you on Starfleet Enterprise. We will live together.
Strange New World. I'm telling you, if you haven't watched.
All right,
Sorry.
here we
I
go.
can't not. He's laughing. I met him in MySpace. This is a friend of mine. We met in
In
MySpace.
MySpace.
In MySpace.
Oh, you go way back.
I met my husband on MySpace. Do I believe in technology? Yes, I do. Yeah. I believe in MySpace. That's how dedicated I am.
Oh, you are. Yeah.
Actually, good one. I like MySpace.
Did you meet anyone on MySpace?
I lost friends.
Have you ever gone on a MySpace? Yeah, you lost friends on MySpace.
Talk about the metaverse.
What's your preferable future, Jonathan?
I think I already probably now is the preferable future. As I see probably, I guess we're gonna have to make with. Donna Haraway, the feminist futurist, said we're gonna have to make with. We raped her, and now we're gonna have to live with those consequences. And we can live probably happily with the consequences. But I think to avoid the happy nihilism, like that I kind of foresee, probably trust that there will be no privacy breach, or because this technology, AR, VR, is really using our haptic body and is watching us, learning about us. So some people describe AI now as probably like more like an animal. And I think we will create more those kind of intelligence or animals. And I think the scientists at Google recently, one of them was fired yesterday because he said that the AI...
Is he suspended or fired?
I don't know, suspended?
Paid to
Suspended?
leave. Paid. He's paid to be suspended. Now,
Exactly. But it's interesting because the narrative is we're going to create those animals' intelligence. They are not humans. Actually, we live with non-human intelligence for a long time. But now we're going to start accepting it. And those non-human intelligence will be put at sea, and we're going to find a way to heat plastic. Just find a way. You have 10 years. And this AI will be, okay, boss.
10 years, that's a long time.
5 years, I don't know.
Thank you.
So the idea is like, I think we're going to use those animal intelligence. I call them animals not to say we're going to replicate human intelligence. We're going to find something else. And I do hope that this something else is actually this alien thing that we all probably not dream of. It's actually probably here already. And it's actually created by us. And you're going to ask questions. I think we need to ask better questions. And maybe the AI, my hope, the preferable, will start asking crazy good questions about the nature of the universe. Like, why am I here? Why are we doing it? Why are we eating plastic? Why the kids are stopping learning at 12 years old? And why are we indoctrinating them like that? Why don't you try this model? I've created 10 new models. Have you tried those 10 new models? I've studied all educational models in the world, and I think we should try this one. And why shouldn't we try this? How to fund this? I can find a way to fund this. I can find partners to fund it. Like, imagine an AI that would actually co-create or co-rebel itself. Like, I don't like the way you use me. I don't like your behavior, Jonathan. You've been working way too much. You never rest. This is not rest. This is rest. Like, I think the preferable future would be an animal intelligence with us, like a dog, but that asks a question, not just ask for a walk.
And would you react better if it came from an AI than from another human? Because,
I'm not replacing the human. I'm just saying the AI would augment the quality of question we ask about the universe around us and the connection we make, and probably it's not going to be a very fun space for narcissists. My preferable future would actually detect the narcissist in our society, and that would create probably healing or I don't know what, a therapy revolution. Because I think there's a lot of narcissistic disorder in society because of the way we have driven the tech, the validation, the little girls on Instagram and TikTok trying to showcase something that is not even understood by themselves. I hope this is not what's happening. My preferable future is emancipation comes with better questioning and probably solution from creative tools like Photoshop. Adobe is currently exploring many ways to use voice. For example, what you see is what you mean is coming back. So like people like me doing interfaces, like I need an interface with 2 columns, 1 header, like the navigation will be this, drop-down menu, blah, blah, blah. All of I say is actually coding. So like in 5 years from now, what I see myself gonna have exact, but it's not mainstream. Imagine mainstream. My kid would be able to do a scene in Unreal saying like, 2 girls walk in a forest, a little bird were top view, the bird falls on the head, the girls lose her hair, falls on her knee, and disappear in the soil.
But is
All
that
of this,
desirable for you?
I'm just
I'm
saying-
just asking. No, it's happening now, and I don't want to touch on
Yeah.
AI art, you know, and
But it's a
sure,
good point. Do your point. Yeah.
we're moving into this everything is possible. But, you know, one thing I don't completely agree with is I think missing the journey, missing the creation, missing the process is where we miss a lot of things. So we can get a lot of beautifully polished outcomes, but we lose the experimentation, the errors, the the
course, it's about
mistakes,
the process, not the
mistakes.
output, yeah.
I think someone here was talking earlier about retroscoping and how tedious it is. I'm like, that's the thing I like doing most. For me, it's therapeutic. Like when I go and trace, I love it. And I'm not saying for some people it's tedious and they want to take it away, but I think the hard questions are there and they're being asked already by, and we don't want to listen to humans. I doubt it will want to listen to computers or to artificial intelligence. Personally.
But my preferable future, I agree with that.
No.
But my preferable future would be retro innovation. We're going to go back to old tech also and embed it in our daily life with less impact and less always on kind of mentality. We're going to accept to rest more. Like humans need to rest. We need to be calm to be creative. Like it's not by being overproductive that we are more. Like the best idea I had is when I was doing nothing and bored as hell. So like my kid, when they say I'm bored, I'm like, good. So it's like, let's
see what comes out of it.
I hope the kids of the future don't fill their time with binging,
Yeah.
Like that's my hope. But
I hope they'll be bored. Like best things happen, in parties when you're drunk and bored. I mean, this is the beauty of humanity. We all know it. Like when was the best moment in your life? Was it when you were the most efficient on the top of your game? Like what memories do we bring as a species, forward? What sticks with us? Not the linear, perfect moments. It's these glitches that have beauty in them. And I really wish that, kids will have that ability to not go like dusk to dawn with this, like everything is smooth and there's no friction. We need friction to grow.
Bring back the chaos. or
Listen,
keep the chaos.
All I want to say is like I was dying to put it in this panel and I didn't find how, so I'll put it now.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning and I said I have to say in the panel, what do you think the future will be? And the future was, in my mind, I'm like, I see this happening. Elon Musk and Trump covered in oil, wrestling for the presidency.
Oh yeah.
And I told it to people and they're like, yeah, we can see it happening. Because you know what? We all can see it happening and we know it might be. And it's terrible and beautiful,
Not sure about the beauty part, but yeah.
Well, I don't know. Will you look away? But, but we need that as well. We can't, like this linear, everything is beautiful and perfect. That's not this reality.
It's not human.
It's not human. It's not reality. The computers can have a perfect world. I don't think we can make this perfect. I don't think we should. I don't know what it is even, but I think we can try to make it better. And as long as this is truly, better for everyone, for everything, it doesn't matter what we do if we try to really make things better, leave things better than how we left them.
Those are such beautiful words that I kind of want to end on beautiful last words like that. Unless, Jonathan, you have something to top
I want him to comment about who's going to win. Who's going to win?
Who's going to win? Who's competing with who?
Musk and
I'm the
Trump.
futurist. You're not a futurist. Like, imagine like who's competing for what? Like, I'm not trying to win the narrative.
No. Who's going to win? No. Not between us. Musk and Trump. Who's going to win the wrestling
Oh my God.
match?
We're
not
I think
competing.
Musk will win because he's microdosing.
That's true. A lot. It's not so micro when you microdose every day, right? So
Yeah. But I would like to to thank you, Catherine, also to control our brain. But like the idea is to find new metaphors together. Like instead of like finding the next big startup who will rule the world, I think the shared metaphors are important right now. Like how do you see AR, VR? Like just talking with Galit, like she was correcting some of my assumption and saying like, wait, you're not against tech, but like we're all with people trying to find a narrative to sell their stuff. We're still at the problem fit. What are the problems we try to solve? And some people find a market. Like industrially, we could find markets and just start selling. But are we solving any problem or just creating more noise? Like just hope we create more calm so we have more attention on the problems than noise. Like more, find the signal instead of the noise. That's my, my key takeaway.
Thank you.
I say one more.
You go ahead. We all have a picture in our minds
showing
now,
on you.
please.
This is it. You're staying here tonight. Everybody drinks tequila. No, and I think, you know, I absolutely love this. And when we started talking online, you know, what I love about this discussion, what I love about this moment, you know, we keep talking about democratizing, you know, technology, but it's all about like, let's teach everyone what we know. I think what we're missing in tech right now is the democracy of the having critical debate, to have dialogue, you know, that we all co-create. I don't believe in competition. I think there's enough technology for all of us here to thrive with and make money even, you know, and I think we need more of these conversations that are critical, and we don't have to agree, you know, we don't need the hegemony of like, it's going to be wonderful or awful or weird, you know. Oh.
It may be a little bit of all of that.
0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
So,
What is she trying to tell
Galit
me?
Ariel,
Sorry.
thank you so much for
Thank
such
you.
a great conversation.
Thank
Thank you. And now the drinks. Now
The drinks. Sorry, I was keeping you from drinks. It was never my intention.
This was so inspiring to watch, and what a wonderful illustration of the exact purpose why we are here today, the community, joining forces.